Good evening, everybody. I'm Ryan, and my friend's over here. There we go. That should be better. Good evening. It is currently 5:27 p.m. here on Sunday evening. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for portions of Otsego County and most all of the Montmorency County, the north and central part, to be exact, of Montmorency County. Let's go ahead and dive into this. Getting everything set up on the back end here. It takes me about a minute just to do that. So bear with me. We should be getting here. We should be good. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. This yellow polygon here is going to be your severe warning. This is going to be Otsego County just to the east of Gaylord, and then also the Montmorency County over here in the majority of the warning. Places along M32, Avery, Rust, Hillman, Canada Creek Ranch, and there's a lot of sparsely populated areas out here, but I do see a lot of roads here, so it's pretty populated in areas within this warning. The polygon says population is just under 8,000 people. The warning is in effect for 60-mile-per-hour winds, and there is currently no severe hail threat with this. I was watching this on radar. It passed over the Gaylord radar here a few minutes ago in Otsego Lake. You can see the winds were about 30 or 40, but as they continued to move eastward, they intensified very rapidly. And in fact, we had a couple areas that got close to 60 or 65. Then I was kind of like, they better warn that. And I texted our moderators and said, hey, stand by. And 30 seconds later, here we go with the warning. So 60-mile-per-hour winds is your hazard with this as this line progresses to the east-northeast toward Hillman. Right along M32 here, I'm trying to find some places besides Canada Creek Ranch, but really just M33, Atlanta here, Bigelow, Donnelly, Heatherton. There's some other areas popping in there. So this is going to be a warning in effect for 46 minutes. That puts us at an expiration time of 6:15 p.m. Eastern. This is the only severe storm in the state. There are other areas that are experiencing showers and storms up here in Sheboygan County, I believe it is. Yes, Sheboygan County, we have a couple showers up there. Further south here toward East Tawas, there's a shower popping up there. It's not severe. It's like a little garden variety pinprick, as I like to call them. Southeast Michigan, radar is currently clear. West Michigan, you got a couple areas with showers, primarily Berry County here. Over the Hastings area, there is a outflow boundary, or perhaps a lake breeze boundary, should I say, that did prompt a statement earlier for some gusty winds, but that's since been dropped. But there is a couple storms on that boundary that I fired up, so we're going to watch those. The severe threat down here is on the lower end of things, but if one does go severe, some gusty winds, perhaps some severe winds would be the only hazard. The UP is primarily dry, just a couple spotty showers in Marquette County as well as Alger County. Otherwise, this is the only storm worth mentioning in the state. 60-mile-per-hour winds is your hazard. It is currently moving in toward the Atlanta, Bigelow, and Donnelly area. Thank you, Red Dozer. It says high and dry in the house. Heard the thunder north of Kazoo. At this stage of the game, it's not worth the cheap thrill. Yeah, I was hoping you guys get some rain over there yesterday, or last night, should I say, but no, it all stayed north of you. We are going to be in a severe drought, if not already heading toward a severe drought in West Michigan in some areas if we don't get rain soon. That is not a good situation. This storm is heading into Montmorency County. It is currently in Otsego County, just east of Gaylord in northern Lower Michigan. Also want to take note that there is perhaps there's a storm ahead of this. I don't think it's going to merge because it's moving pretty quick today. But if it does merge, we'll have to watch that carefully. It's close, but I think it'll scoot north of the main bow here. You can tell it's a bowed out, meaning that the winds are likely pushing out of the storm. It's like a bow and arrow. So winds are kind of gusting out over M32 here. Donnelly, Bigelow, Heatherton areas along M32. There's the latest scan. Looks like it moved it over toward Donnelly and Bigelow area. This warning continues for 60-mile-per-hour winds. You can see the brighter reds indicating that your winds are likely above 50 miles per hour in spots. This is actually pretty close to the radar. The radar beam is right back here, surprisingly. So this is actually a really low beam height to the ground. So the good news is we're seeing good data. The radar beam at this location is a mere 900, 1,000 feet. We're going to call it even 1,000 off the ground. So that's pretty low. So it's there. But I do notice on the latest scan, the brighter reds are now pushing into darker reds, meaning that the wind is becoming less strong or less severe as this moves away from the radar. So that likely indicates that the storm is either weakening or those winds are really centered below 1,000 feet, which could be the case as well. We'll see what they do here. The warning was just issued, so I can't imagine they're going to expire anytime soon. But definitely some gusty winds here along M32, directly over the Otsego and Montmorency County line. Outside of this area, as mentioned before, we have very little going on across the state. There's one storm down in Berry County that's dumping a lot of rain and lightning directly over Hastings. So currently Hastings is winning the rain lottery. Carlton, Lake Odessa, Sunfield out ahead of this little shower. There's a few lightning strikes in there as well, but not severe. It's just a garden variety shower, and it's much needed and welcomed for that area as the drought continues. Up here in Gratiot County, looks like toward Ithaca, Wheeler areas, got some spotty light sprinkles up there. Otherwise, Lower Michigan, you are pretty much clear south of M46. Even up here toward Cadillac and Houghton Lake, you guys are pretty much clear. One shower over here by the Wilbur and Tawas City area. And then up here, the main show in Montmorency County. There's a bigger shower up here in Sheboygan County, moving into Presque County. That is not currently strong or severe, but you definitely can tell there's a bit of a gust front within this. So this could be producing some gusty winds, but probably nowhere close to severe. This storm is now directly over Donnelly, Bigelow, and Heatherton, moving toward Atlanta. Going to be crossing the Green Swamp here momentarily. Is moving to the east-northeast. Atlanta may get missed by the majority, or at least the strongest part of this cell. It'll probably still rain there, but looks like the core of this may traverse to your north there in Atlanta. M33 and 624 corridors where this storm is currently headed. This is going to also be called, if I can get a name on this. Is it just M33? There's no name with this? Okay. M33. 624 is called County Road 624. Got some rural areas here. Argony Lodge Road or Argonne Lodge Road. And we got Stevens Spring Road. Those are out ahead of this. M32, M33 corridor is where this is currently headed, just north of Atlanta. Go ahead and zoom out, animate this. Looks like they just trimmed this warning back. We'll see if the polygon shrinks here in a second. I believe they just maintained it. So they maintained it, 60-mile-per-hour winds and less than penny-sized hail. So no severe hail. Perhaps some small pea-sized, perhaps dime-sized hail in there. Let's go ahead and turn on our hail tracker. Yeah, it's not very impressive there. It's showing up, but not as intense as what we saw the previous couple of days. We saw big red and purple and white colors indicating that, hey, we have a lot of hail here. It's mostly just pea size if anything's fallen there. If you're just tuning in, this is the only storm of concern in the state currently. There is a storm down in Berry County as well as to the north in Sheboygan County, but those are just garden variety in nature, not a huge concern. Back to velocity. A little bit of a gust front there, moving in closer to Atlanta now. So Atlanta back in line. Bigelow and Donnelly were just impacted by that area. I'm going to pop open the consumer's outage map and see if any outages are rolling in from this storm. I would not be shocked. Those winds were pretty intense there at about the 500-foot mark close to the radar. And this appears to be a different energy company up here. So we're going to revert back to the .us site and go from there. I see Montmorency at Otsego, 0 people out currently. So let's hope it stays that way. Although it does say that Antrim, Kalkaska, Iosco, and Clare counties have some people out of power. So keep that in mind. This is moving in toward Atlanta now. So if you're in Atlanta proper, gusty winds heading in your direction, potential for up to 60-mile-per-hour winds with the storm. The radar has weakened some in the past couple of scans. That's good news. But the brighter reds are indicating that we do still have some intense or stronger winds heading your direction. Radar indicating 50 miles per hour in spots and mostly along the leading edge of that storm. So it's going to come, it's going to gust out, and it's going to rain hard for a few seconds or a few minutes. It'll be past you. Behind this, there's really nothing to be concerned about, just some light rain showers, just an isolated cell. I don't think it's DTE that far north. It could be. I might be mistaken. Yeah, it's not DTE. Okay, I'll look that up. Thanks, guys. Does that serve the area? Interesting. Let me look at it real quick. It does. One active outage updated as of 5:34. So currently it says nobody's out of power there. Although the coverage area, I believe, starts and stops on the county line here. We did have some brighter velocities showing up back here in Otsego County, which this map does not cover. So I'm really curious what the winds were back here just east of Gaylord, like Johannesburg, White's Landing, M32, and this is going to be Turtle Lake Road. Along that general area, the winds really got strong in Johannesburg. So if you guys have any friends or family in Johannesburg, it might be a good idea to send them a text and see if they're out of power or if they're okay. Looks like the worst of the winds kind of bursted out there over Johannesburg directly. So any Johannesburg or local residents watching here in chat who can report out of curiosity? While you guys answer that question, back to the radar here. Latest scan, we're getting like what, 4-minute scans here? 4 to 5 minute scans. So we're going to hope that Atlanta misses the brunt of this. Hello from Vanderbilt. And it looks like the worst of this is now north of Atlanta, but it has increased some on the latest scan. That's up to 62 miles per hour. Joburg, the sun is shining. That's good news. You got power? Power's on. That's really good news. Latest scan, though, some gusty winds just moving into Atlanta, but primarily north of Atlanta here. They're going to be centered over Green Swamp. Let's even get us some trail names here. Mefford Road. Is there a road name on this? Of course there's not. It just says Mefford Road. M33 is on deck here in the next 3 or 4, 5 minutes or so. Nope, this is really the only storm currently in the state worth monitoring. There is 2 areas that are getting storms, Sheboygan County, about to be Presque Isle County. Then down in Berry County, there is a storm that is somewhat like stationary over the Hastings area. This does have a downburst signature on it now, so gusty winds possible here in Hastings. Not severe. Wouldn't expect it to be severe, but it could be enough to produce 30 or 40 mile per hour winds there in or around the Hastings area, from Irving to Carlton, perhaps as far west as Irving, over toward the east toward Nashville. So what I'm looking at here, the greens and reds, the reds are going away from the radar, greens are going toward. That means the center of a downburst is happening somewhere like right here. The winds are kind of spreading outward from it. So typical classic microburst downburst signature, does not appear to be severe. But it is worth monitoring there if you live in Berry County, in particular near Hastings. We'll watch that closely, though, if that intensifies further. Focus is up here, though, on this warning in effect for 60-mile-per-hour winds for the east part of Otsego County, but primarily the storm is now in Montmorency County. The county line is right here. I drew that line way to the east of where the county line actually is. It's right here. So this storm is now basically completely moved into Montmorency County. This also continues until 6:15. It expires at 6:15. It goes for 32 more minutes. Take a zoomed out look here, guys. Northern Michigan, there is a current radar for you. Clear, minus Presque County, Sheboygan County, and Montmorency County, and perhaps Alpena County here shortly if this storm continues off to the east-northeast. Further south, we got a shower dissipating in the Iosco, I believe, county area. This is Iosco. I'm pretty sure it is. Yes, Iosco. Got a couple light showers here in Aranet County as well. Bay County, you're dry. Got a couple pop-ups there in Gratiot County moving into Saginaw area. But overall, besides that storm up there in northern Michigan and this one down here in Berry County, we're quiet in lower Michigan. This is also increasing just a bit. We're going to watch that a little bit closer. In fact, I'm going to pull my second radar here and pull this in just in case. There is a boundary there, which is providing a lift for this storm to maintain itself. So I'm going to keep that up there and watch what that does. The UP, a couple showers up there. Not much of anything to be concerned about, though, which is really good news. Do we foresee any pop-ups on the southeast side of the state? It is a small possibility today, but the majority of southeast Michigan is looking to be looking to be pretty dry throughout the evening. If there's going to be a storm, it's going to pop up on one of the lake breeze boundaries, but overall the ingredients are much better for that up here in northern Michigan and also western Michigan. So small chance. I would say for the 99% of you guys, if not 100%, it'll be dry. Let's zoom in, take a peek at the latest scan here. Yeah, definitely a pocket of damaging winds about to cross probably over M33 as we speak. This is a 2-minute old radar scan. This is likely impacting M33 just north of Atlanta. This is going to be 50 to 60 mile per hour winds that are crossing M33 heading in toward the same area, Medford Road or Meaford Road, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Brown Road, Stevens Spring Road here. That's going to be the general area in about 2 minutes of time. Hillman is on deck. New warning has not no warning. The warning has just been trimmed, so Avery is no longer included. They kind of shrunk it to match the ongoing storm here. Hillman's on deck, just north of Hillman toward Royston, and this is Long Lake, Avalon Lake, along County Road 624. That's going to be the general area between 628 and 624, Royston to Hillman. That's going to be the path of this swath of potential damaging winds. What is this road? This is a main road. Pleasant Valley Road as well. Hillman, as of right now, this is moving towards you. It may miss you guys to the north. It's kind of moving east-northeast here, so it may brush you guys, depending on how this evolves. And in the meantime, I'm going to flip back between this, and I want to show you guys the radar back down here in Berry County. Downburst continues just north of Hastings. This is likely some gustier winds occurring here, but it is not looking severe at this current time. Just a classic downburst. Let's go ahead and check on the outage map again. Refresh that. Still 0 and 0 for Otsego and Montmorency County. We do have some outages popping up now on the PIEG, the I believe it's Presque Electric and Gas, maybe. Hope I got that right. Outage here. Customers affected 1. Reported at 5:37. That is where? That's not even storm related. Maybe it is. It might be. No, it's actually not. That happened 10 minutes ago. That's nowhere near the storms. So I wouldn't think that's storm related. Hello, Debbie from Hillman. Welcome in. Hope you're inside away from windows as the storm pushes your direction. Got some gusty winds potentially with it. Hillman is in the path. Looking at the track of it, if this holds together in this current movement and strength and intensity, it'll likely just brush or miss Hillman to the north. We're looking at those brighter reds and yellowish tan colors. Those are your really gusty winds. And for the most part, you can kind of see the track is moving a little bit more to the north than it is toward Hillman. So if it expands southward, that puts Hillman more in line for it. And the latest scan actually does increase even further. A nice pocket of perhaps a little over 60 here. Yeah, 66 now mile-per-hour winds showing up just to the east of M33. This is going to be over Brown Road and Stevens Springs Road. We just called that out 5 minutes ago. So again, Hillman up to Royston. You guys need to be inside, away from windows. Would not hurt to get to a interior room or your basement if you have one. This is gusty winds. There's no hail or anything tornadic rotation-wise with the storm. This is just pure damaging wind risk as of this current time. Nice pocket there. It's a nice, it's localized, but it's a nice pocket of damaging winds here moving through Montmorency County. I am waiting for the outage map to update again because I have to imagine we're going to get some flown in here. Hello, Caleb from Huron, Ohio. This is northern lower Michigan. We zoom out. This is where we're at. Very tip top of lower Michigan. Nope, Pawpaw is clear. For those just tuning in, statewide, it's pretty much dry out there for 95% of us. Sheboygan, Presque Isle, Montmorency, perhaps Alpena County. You have some storms moving through your counties. Further south here, some dissipating showers near the Tawas City and Iosco County area. Southeast Michigan, you are completely dry. There is a lake breeze boundary pushing in Macomb toward Oakland County here. That may spark something, but I doubt it will. We'll watch that carefully. Over here in the west part of Michigan, the cell in Berry County is the only cell currently in West Michigan from Big Rapids, Reed City, Ludington, Mount Pleasant. That's the only thing on radar currently is in Berry County. That's it. In Berry County, though, Hastings and Lake Odessa, Carlton, Nashville area, this was looking a little gusty in nature. It kind of still is. Carlton over here toward Woodland and Coates Grove areas, likely getting some gusty winds, but does not appear to be severe. UP is also dry for the most part, just some showers going on up there in very localized areas. This is really the only spot in Michigan we're going to focus in on here. For the rest of you guys, it is clear. Latest scan does continue the pocket of gusty winds. Radar indicating that these winds are at or just above 60 miles per hour. I have my radar set up where the bright reds will max out at right around 58 or 59 miles per hour. That's your severe limit. When they turn to that tan color, that means we're over severe. So you can see that pocket of bright red, that's right around 50, 55, up to 57 or so. And that tan color is when we start getting that severe criteria. So we're close, if not just above criteria here for this warning. This is continued until 6:15 p.m., so 23 more minutes in effect here for Montmorency County. I will say Hillman looks like it may brush you now. It's still moving to the north, but you can kind of see the main core of that wind, we're going to call it a wind bag, is kind of moving to the east with this storm as it moves to the northeast. So Hillman, don't let your guard down here. It's about, measuring you guys here, about 8 miles currently. This is probably not about 7 miles currently just to your west. Like I said, crossing or following very close to the Pleasant Valley Road up here toward 624. Avalon Lake area and Hillman areas will be impacted by this, just south of Royston. 628, 624, Hillman areas, Pleasant Valley, County Road 459, Avalon Lake. Go ahead and zoom out just a bit. We'll go ahead and animate that and let it sit there and wait for the new scan to pop in. This storm also, I want to take notice really quickly, is producing an outflow boundary. And you can see this on radar, the outflow from this storm, or is that a lake breeze boundary? Let me back this up here. This might be a lake breeze boundary. I don't want to call it outflow. It's outflow. So that is 100% outflow boundary. And that could provide lift for additional storms down here further south toward Avery down to Luzerne and Mayo that potentially could pop up north cells. Outages are starting to roll in now in the okay. So I'm putting two and two. I can't talk. I'm putting two and two together here. The outage map currently is lighting up outages in this vicinity right here. And I'm kind of scratching my head going, why is that? The storm is up here. And I just put two and two together. This boundary, this outflow from the storm is likely producing severe winds. So I want to go ahead and highlight that really quickly here. I can't confirm it's severe or not, but it is producing outages. So take that in consideration. We're going to call it strong winds. Strong winds are likely occurring with that boundary all the way down into Oscoda County, the north part of Oscoda County here toward Red Oak, County Road 489, 485 here. This general area near T Lake, where you see this line on radar, that's your outflow, and that's likely producing enough to create some havoc in certain localized areas. Avery down to about the Luzerne area. Keep that in mind. Thank you for that super chat, Founding Mother. Appreciate you. Back here to that radar, and continues to show pockets of damaging wind here pushing up now toward Royston. So again, we just called these out. 628, 624, was it Pleasant Valley Road here? Yeah, Pleasant Valley Road, and then 8 Avalon Lake. Those areas are about to be impacted in the next 5 to 10 minutes. I'm curious if they're aware that that boundary is producing outages. So I wonder if we can get like a statement on that, or perhaps a warning maybe. Yeah, outages are really starting to pop in here. They did continue the warning for Montmorency County. I believe they trimmed it back here. It continues for 60 mile per hour winds and penny size hail or less. So not severe hail, it's just a wind threat technically. You could see some small hail mixed in, but the odds of that happening today look pretty meager. The hail tracker here has not been impressive the entire day on any of these storms. This one's no exception either. So wind should be the primary concern with this storm as it pushes toward Hillman and Royston areas. Going to put the northwest part of Alpena County on alert toward Long Rapids, that general area. This is heading your direction. If this continues up here toward Presque-Isle Township, down here toward Pulaski, Posen, and Leroy areas will be on deck in about a half hour or so as the storm progresses to the east-northeast, if it holds together. That's the key here. After the Tuesday time frame, we're going to cool off just a bit. Yes. The bad news is when we get toward the weekend, we're going to climb back in toward the hot and muggy conditions. So it's a roller coaster. If you follow us on Facebook, we just posted our 7-day outlooks as well as our muggy meter this morning at 9 and 10 a.m. So if you're an avid follower, scroll back all the way to 9 or 10 a.m. You will see what the dew points are going to be and what the temperatures and perhaps storm chances as well will be throughout the state for each day of the week. Unfortunately, no, we don't have any cameras up in the northeast part of the state yet. We have some places that we may have cameras going in soon up there, but currently none. And as always, if you're watching and you want to sponsor a weather camera, feel free to contact me directly. My email is my first name, Ryan, Ryan at MichiganStormChasers.com. I would love to talk with you if you own a business and you want to put a weather camera up and sponsor one for us. That would be much appreciated. This warning continues. Montmorency County, 15 more minutes, expires at 6:15 p.m. Eastern Time. It is currently the only storm in the state that is worth mentioning for possibility of being strong or severe. I will say as well, this boundary that's come out of the storm, outflow winds pushing out from the storm, can be strong sometimes. In this case, likely is strong as outages are rolling in down here toward the Avery area. So if you are along or ahead of this boundary from Avery down here toward Biggs Settlement, Fairview, and Commons, likely some stronger winds head in your direction. And those will arrive here in the next 5 or 10 minutes. We have quite a few outages now popping in from this boundary here. We're up to 400 people in this localized area. That's not a lot of people, you may say, and you're correct, it's not. But the population of this area up here is very sparse. It's very rural. So it's not like Detroit or Grand Rapids where it's going to be 1,000 people in this localized area. But 400 people in that small area is actually quite a bit. So this is likely very impactful. It's not warned. Perhaps needs to be warned or a statement for it. But likely very strong winds occurring with that boundary south of the actual storm to the north. I lost my mouse. Where'd my mouse go? There it is. I got worried for a second. Anyway, pocket of damaging wind here continues to move between Royston and Hillman. What's up, Clayton? Good to see you in chat. Yeah, that one did look gusty for a brief time. It may still look gusty. Let's go ahead and check back down here in Berry County. Yeah, it looks like it's weakened out pretty significantly. The Charlotte camera may have a good visual on that. I do not have the cameras pulled up. So funny story, I have been up pretty much all night and all day working on our 24/7 channel. I'm getting the cameras, or not the cameras, but I'm getting the equipment to do this all set up. And I've had like 3 or 4 screens all night long working on stuff. So I'm running off 2 screens right now. And my other 2 screens that I usually use are operating the equipment and programming it to run that channel. So unfortunately, I do not have the ability to pull up our weather camera network for right now. I can see it on my phone. I can't publicly broadcast it, at least not at this current time. So I do apologize about that. We don't have any cameras up here in the affected areas that are currently warned. I'm trying to see the Charlotte cam, just see if there's anything interesting in there. Not really, just a distant base and storm there. So... Yeah, Clayton is one of our partner chasers. Yep. What's up, Linda from Northern Michigan? Welcome into the chat. Recapping here, we do have a severe warning in effect for Montmorency County. To be specific, the north and east corner of Montmorency County, Hillman and Royston areas, and a little bit west of there are the immediate impact areas. Gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour is your main hazard. However, as we've been talking about the past couple of minutes, there is an outflow boundary that's pushing out from the storm that's likely very strong in nature. In fact, there are outages popping up all across this area right now, where the storm is not even at, but this boundary from this storm is pushing out. Outflow winds from a decaying storm push out, and they can sometimes push out very strongly. So, with that said, if you're down here in the northern part of Oscoda County, let me know if you're watching and if it's windy there, because I anticipate this is likely close to, or at least it was close to, severe limits. In fact, the latest power outage map in Montmorency County is now lighting up. 2,000 people are now out of power in Montmorency County. 2,000 people. And again, that's not a lot of people, but you guys got to think, for those of you watching downstate, northern Michigan county populations are much less than ones in southern Michigan. So customers tracked on this website is 10,431, and 2,056 of those are out of power. That's almost 20% of the customers in Montmorency County that are currently without power, just for perspective. So if you want to size that up, what's Wayne County population? Customers tracked from Wayne County, 800,000. So what's 20% of 800,000? Sorry, guys, I was muted. I got you. I was saying, back down here in the Harrisville, Greenbush area, there's a cell that popped up down there. And then down here in Berry County, it did look looked gusty earlier, in a sense weakened, and our attention should be remaining further north on the cell that's currently severe, and that's where we're going to keep things right now. East side, just checking in over there real quick. There's nothing on radar. Clear from the top of the thumb down to the Ohio border. Pocket of damaging winds now heading directly into Royston. Thank you, Michael, for that. Actually, Michael has become a member. Thank you, Michael, for becoming a member. Appreciate your support and welcome to the team. Yeah, I butchered that. Royston is about to see the brunt of the damaging winds here. In fact, a new warning incoming now for Montmorency, Alpena, and Presque-Isle counties. So an extension incoming here, as expected. We'll wait for that to pop in. And we'll go over that in just a second. In the meantime, though, we're going to roll with the new graphic coming out. There it is. Pea-size hail and wind gusts up to excuse me, wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour are the hazards. That is a big warning, and probably well deserved too. Let's talk cities here in just a second. I'm getting the graphic posted to the page so you guys who are not watching can see the graphic in areas impacted. So that just got uploaded. There we go. Back to the radar here. Long Rapids, Metz Township, Presque Isle Township, Harbor View, Bell, Rockport, Lakewood, Leroy, Bolton, Cathro, Long Rapids, Lear, Pulaski, Posen, Royston. Anywhere in between those areas will be impacted with this storm as it pushes to the northeast. Thank you, Bruce, for the $10 super chat. It says, thank you for all you do. No, thank you for supporting us here. Appreciate it. Latest power outage map has not been updated. I will say that there are quite a few outages now being reported. They have been reported with this boundary, the north side of this boundary to be exact. Hillman likely got impacted by that boundary as well, so Hillman likely seeing stronger winds. Rust, whatever lake this is going to be Fletcher's floodwater. Is that a lake or is that just Upper South Branch Thunder Bay River is what that's called. Interesting. That general area along Fletcher's floodwater, this lake just south of Hillman, if that's the official name for it. If not, I don't know. But this is your boundary, and this area is likely going to see very strong winds as that boundary pushes out. So you're outside the warning technically, but it's still producing very strong winds here. I would say pop-ups are possible both tomorrow and Tuesday. Tuesday does have potential to be a day to watch for severe, just because we have a couple things coming together that would warrant the mention of some better wind shear and better lift. So we're going to watch Tuesday, but overall it's not a very high concern at this time, but that could change. And we've been saying it for the past couple of weeks, at least I have been. The models this summer have been, for lack of a better term, complete trash. So we take it really day by day here. It's really hard. Even on the mornings that I make these videos on YouTube for our daily update videos, I'm looking at models and I'm trying to struggle to find things to say because there's no specific guidance to really go off of. So I have to be very broad and specific. You guys watch, you probably catch on to that. I'm very broad, very specific or unspecific in terms of saying what areas and when, just because models are so far in left field this year. So let's wait until we get closer to Tuesday to get a better idea of things. But yes, Tuesday is a day to watch for potential stronger storms, as well as tomorrow with the general pop-up storms. No problem, Dime. No problem at all. Latest update from the outage map from the Presque Isle and Gas Electric. 2,000 people directly over the area here near... Is that right? Is that right? Avery, Rust, Atlanta areas have all seen intense winds from this storm or the outflow from the storm. There's a pocket here. I keep mentioning it, but I'm going to draw it out around this general area here as seeing quite a few outages. But the actual storm itself, further north, there's nothing coming in for the actual storm itself. So there's one outage coming in, and that was reported at 5:53. That's up here further north, just west of Hillman. But otherwise, the bulk of the outages are associated with the outflow boundary of the storm, not the actual storm itself. So I have to question if this is actually mixing to the ground or just a regular shower here. I think the actual show is south here with this boundary. because there's no data here that says that. I mean, radar says yeah, the winds are pretty gusty there, but we're about 2,000 feet off the ground now, and all the outages coming in are south of the actual storm. So I think the actual area of interest is outside of the warnings currently with this boundary. I will also say the north part of this cell near Millersburg up here in Presque Isle County, heading toward Belknap and Rogers City, has developed, and let's check the wind on it. You can kind of compare here. There's definitely some gusty winds here with this storm. Up here, it's kind of trying to take shape, but not really as strong as the ones further south there. So perhaps some gusty winds trying to develop just between Rogers City and Millersburg. Majority of the concern is going to be with this storm moving into Alpena County and Presque Isle County momentarily. And my personal guidance or my personal suggestion would be this outflow boundary is the main show here, producing the damaging wind with this storm. I'm trying to line this up here to make sure I'm not missing something, and I'm really not. In fact, let me go ahead and bring this in if I can. Let me show you guys this. So take note and kind of keep a close eye where I'm going to zoom in at here. On radar, there's two intersections. There's going to be this intersection right here. If I can find it again. There we go. There's a little dip down here of M32, and then there's a road that goes south toward Avery. And then this continues, 32 continues over here to 33, and that goes up. So it's kind of like almost like a lopsided football goalpost. Now, if I switch you guys over to my screen share here to the outage map, this is the outage map here. And you can see the area of interest is right between M33, M32 down here toward that south road. And that is well south of the actual storm itself, which is up here. And there's one purple dot here indicating 1 to 5 people out of power, but the majority of the people out are not even being affected by the storm itself. So that's what I'm kind of basing my data off of, and why I think that the actual storm itself is not as strong, but the boundary further south is. So going back here to the radar, all the outages that I'm seeing are down here. If we back the radar up, you can see the storm was well to the north of that area, but the boundary impacted. So regardless, the radar still shows gusty winds are occurring with this storm. They are over Royston right now, and they're moving in. Basically going to ride the Presque Isle and Alpena County line here toward Lear and Pulaski, as well as Posen. Yeah, Clayton, that's a really good point too. I'm not looking at two radars today, so good point. Thank you for pointing that out. But apparently the updraft on this is becoming a little unorganized as well. And yeah, you can definitely tell it's losing its touch here. Although this one up here heading toward Rogers City is also increasing. On this radar product, you want to see brighter colors like orange, reds, and some whites sometimes. That indicates your updraft is really healthy. In this case, we're seeing pretty much a neutral, as I think it's neutral buoyancy, as Joel calls it. That means the storm is just kind of hanging out there. It's not really strengthening or maintaining itself. So, as it sits, though, this is heading toward Presque Isle Township along Grand Lake, Leroy, Pulaski, and Posen areas. Lear is going to be impacted shortly. 634, 441, and M65 are the main crossroads out ahead of this storm. And then I'm going to also mention the outflow boundary here is about to push into Long Rapids all the way down here toward M65 into, there's no towns here. Throughout the, we're just going to say throughout Alpena County. Let's go ahead and travel south here to a cell in Barry, moving into Ionia in the northwest part of Eaton County. A couple outflow boundaries on these storms as well. Probably some gustier winds, probably 20 or 30 miles per hour with these. And as well, the storm itself is dying over M43 there east of Hastings, so that shouldn't be an issue much longer. And East Michigan, still clear. Just some clutter there with the boundary pushing in from the east. That could spark something, but unlikely to, as we're about to lose the heat of the day soon. Warning has been continued for 60 mile per hour winds and less than penny size hail. So that is good news. Not seeing any upgrades, not seeing any downgrades just yet, so it's maintaining. And as I say that, I am going to try to down my dinner here. Again, I am working solo today, so I'm doing graphics, doing radar, run stream, solo, so bear with me. Pocket of gusty winds is now entering the Lear area. Posen and Pulaski is on deck in about 5 or so minutes or less. In the meantime, pop myself off the screen here. I'll animate this for you guys, and I'll mute myself here for about 30 seconds. Dinner is taco meat, taco seasoning, and dressing. More like a snack for me. I am on the diet that I eat every 2 or so hours, so I eat smaller meals throughout the day. I don't eat 3 large meals. The population of this current warning, I believe I already said it, but it's just under 8,000 people. If this continues, it should stay fairly close to Harbor View and Presque Isle Township, whatever this is. I know it's a township, but it's more populated through here, and it's kind of heading your guys' direction if it continues. Let's check on our outage map here. Oof, I X'd it out. Let me go back and find that again. There it is. No update. All right. Finish up this food here real quick. I'll be as quick as possible. All right. We should be good. Wow. We should be good to go now. This warning continues for 53 minutes although I doubt that they're going to continue it for that long. This storm should be over Lake Huron by the time it expires. In the meantime, though, a pocket of gusty winds is still occurring here just south of Metz Township, south of Belknap here. We go to the east-northeast at about 35 miles per hour. Increase of velocity the past couple of scans now showing up. We're getting the tan color back, which indicates winds are at or just above 60 miles per hour. Posen is on deck, small town here, but you can see population center actually pretty populated. What is your source, Cheyenne? Was there a post on Facebook you saw? Was there a picture shared? Like, what's your source? This is actually looking pretty good for hail, actually. The hail tracker is lagging behind. I gotta pop open GR2 here just to take a peek at this. Turn on the good old VIL product here. Nope, nothing in hail-wise. At least not yet on GR2. We go up in the atmosphere. Yeah, it's not very tall. Yeah, that's why. So I guess Alpena County has now sounded their sirens again. So this is like the third time we've been talking about this. Influx of comments on our post or on our page about this. Some counties, Alpena County is obviously one of them now. We've established that. But some counties have different criteria for what they sound their outdoor warning sirens for. So I guess Alpena County does sound them countywide for any type of severe warning. This is a base severe warning for just wind, and the warning is for a small portion of the northern half of Alpena County. So this yellow box, obviously, Alpena County is right here, roughly drawn, obviously. So the northern half of Alpena County got a warning. If you're down here in Ossining or anywhere south, really, of M32, it's probably blue skies out there, truthfully. You got some gusty winds at this boundary pushing through here, about to cross M65 just south of M32, but otherwise there's really nothing going on in the southern part of the county. So if you're hearing sirens on the southern part of the county, you're fine. You're fine. The storm actually is barely in the county. So I don't understand why counties do that. I do and I don't. It's just, it causes more confusion, I believe. But I guess it's more of opinion than anything. So Long Rapids is probably getting some gustier winds right now. All the way down here, about to cross 65, that's your boundary. That's probably producing some gustier winds. I can't confirm if they're severe or not, especially as it's kind of progressed further to the east. No new update to the outage map. That's good. So likely likely a very brief period of gusty winds with that boundary back toward Atlanta and Hillman. This storm does not have any new outages coming in. That's really good news. So, with that said, this storm is likely on its way out. The updraft is dying, and even though there is some stronger winds here, as denoted by the brighter reds and tan color here on radar, that's your wind velocity showing some brighter colors. The brighter the color, the heavier the winds. Nothing is suggesting that these winds are producing outages or damage of any sort that I can tell. Montmorency County has now been canceled out of this warning, so we'll wait for it to update. There it goes. They just updated that warning and continued for 60-mile-per-hour winds. Okay, I still see a lot of comments here about Alpena's sirens. Again, I'll say it one more time. Some counties do have criteria that are different than others. Alpena County apparently sounds their sirens for any type of severe warning. So even if it's in the northern part of the county, which this storm is barely in Alpena County, the warning does include the northern half or northern portion of Alpena County. It's a small sliver here. And that's enough to trigger the countywide system for sirens. But if you're south of M32 and especially south of Long Rapids, Alpena, you're fine. Ossining is fine. There's nothing incoming for you guys. The storm is moving off to your north. It's going to miss your county. But because there's a sliver of your county that's in a warning, sirens are sounding countywide. So it causes some confusion, but some counties have that. I know Wayne County's like that. I think Livingston's also like that. There's a few counties that do it that way. I don't understand it, but it's how it goes. It's also why we say you can't rely on sirens as a reliable way to receive warnings. They're one way you can receive warnings, yes, but they shouldn't be relied on as your first option. There's so much variability between counties to counties, not even in Michigan, but across the entire country. So sirens should be the last method that you receive weather warnings. Rogers City about to be impacted by this cell. Some pea-sized hail, I'd say, possible, as well as some brief gusty winds. It does not appear to be severe. Further south here, this pocket of damaging wind is now pushing into Posen. This is as of 2 minutes ago. So that is moving up your direction. And again, this warning continues for 45 more minutes. It has a history of producing some damaging winds further back toward Atlanta. Excuse me. Yeah, Sarah there in Facebook chat, one of our moderators, has a good point here. If you're new, we always say this as well. They're not technically called tornado sirens. The official term that we're using and that other people, the officials, use is they're outdoor warning sirens. They have multiple purposes. So just because they're going off does not automatically mean tornado. In this case, they're going off. It's for a damaging wind risk that in this case is out of the county to the north, but because part of the county is under the warning, that's why sirens are going off. Damaging wind is the only threat with the storm. There is no rotation that I'm seeing. The storm is not super cellular in nature, so I don't expect this to start rotating. Did I say Wayne County? I don't know if I said Wayne County. I might have mixed up Livingston with Wayne. I don't know if Wayne does that or not. I do know that Livingston, I believe, does. Well, no. I don't know. All I know is some counties do that and other counties don't. I think Kent County is another one that sounds sirens countywide, because last year we had an instance where there was a tornado warning, I think, that was issued for Berry County, and it included like a very small sliver of Kent, and the entire county siren system went off. So I think Kent's on that system as well. I believe Livingston is. I thought Wayne was. I could be wrong. Pocket damaging wind here, now crossing M65. Moving up toward the Harbor View area. And as you can see on your map here, up in the top right corner, there's more roads. More roads equals more population. This storm should be over Lake Huron in the next 20 or so minutes. And as it does that, we are pop out of here. Across the state, if you're just tuning in or you're just kind of curious about other parts of the state of Michigan, we're pretty much dry. There's a spotty shower still hanging on near Portland now in Ionia County. And that's pretty much it. East Michigan is clear. Besides that one spot there in Ionia County, West Michigan is clear. The northern half of Michigan is pretty much clear, minus the Presque-Isle County area. And the UP, very, very pinprick spotty showers across Baraga, Marquette, and Iron counties. These two cells are the focus, primarily this one to the south. Gusty winds on radar continue to show up as it pushes now across the M65 corridor, the County Road 65 corridor toward US 23. Oh, it is M65. Okay, it is M65. My bad. Oh, goodness. One of the softwares I'm downloading for our camera network is now done, and it's prompting me to do something, but my keyboard is plugged into the wrong computer now. So let's do this. Get this done and over with. This storm may actually be dropped of that warning soon, I hope. That's my hope, at least. We'll see. If you saw my setup here, you understand why I don't have two keyboards. It's complicated. I think maybe a behind-the-scenes tour of MSC equipment would be in store, because there is a bug. I killed it. There is a lot that goes on with Joel and I's setups. We have 4 monitors. We have so many cords. We have so many things we have to keep track of. It's crazy. If you guys ever wonder why we have so many audio issues, there's just so much going on. From the software to the wires to the desktops, it's just a lot. Alpena County has now been canceled from the existing warning. Again, canceled from the existing warning. It's now just in effect for Presque-Isle County. Continues for 60 mile per hour winds. It does continue for 40 more minutes. I'm going to guess they're going to expire that early. Whether it either A, is canceled because the storm is weakened, or B, because it's on Lake Huron. Back in here to the radar, this pocket of potential damaging winds is now to the north of Posen, moving toward US 23 and the shoreline of Huron. Harbor View and Presque Isle Township in line for the path, although the looks like it's going to do more of a beeline toward Harbor View than Presque Isle Township. Did I say Harbor Beach? If I did, I apologize. We want a lizard sticker. Oh no. I'll ask Joel. There we go. Yeah, it looks like the latest couple scans here, the velocity on this has weakened a little bit. It's become a little bit more displaced out ahead of this. So I think we're about to see this warning be dropped. I think the storm is definitely lost a little bit of its punch. If this does drop, we'll hop out of here. Yeah, there's a viral meme about a lizard going around. A lot of our guys are sharing it. So if you're just tuning in, we are live covering a severe warning in Presque Isle County, to be exact, the south and east corner. Harbor View is the immediate area affected, or immediate area being affected by this. Posen, as well as is this Liskey or Lisk? US 23 corridor between 23 and Huron will be the immediate impact area in a few minutes. Once this is dropped or canceled or expired, we're going to pop out of here. Excuse me. And we'll call it an evening and hope we don't have to go live again. I don't think we will, at least for a while, as storms, as we talked about before, there are not really too many out there. In fact, this is the only two in the state that have lightning with them. So as that is said, yeah, I hope it stays quiet too. I need to sleep tonight. Alrighty. We're a few scans away from the storm moving on to Huron. Probably about 15 or so minutes in total. We're going to start seeing that northern half of that cell start moving on, but there's still some land there on the southern half. Gotta get through that yet. No problem, Linda. Outage map has 5,833 people out of power. Of that, 2,000 are in Montmorency County. There are currently 0 out in Presque Isle or Alpena counties. Latest scan on velocity, yeah, it's weakened. Still a nice pocket showing up there, but it's kind of displaced out ahead of it now. So perhaps a little bit of a gust front. So the wind arrives before the rain, so to speak. We have some cells over the lake, but those are just garden variety. They're kind of forming, so I have to watch that as well, just in case. Marquette, Baraga, Iron County has some cells still to watch there. Otherwise, this is just the only cell in the state currently worth monitoring. I got a severe alert on FEMA for Clinton County, so I came here. No. Yeah, Clinton County, there ain't nothing happening in Clinton County. Yeah, there ain't nothing there. Not sure why it alerted you. No warnings, not at all. Posen, you're on the back side of the storm now, so probably going to hear a lot of heavy lightning, light rain, and perhaps a little bit of some gusty winds on the back side of that, but otherwise, you're about to be clear in about 10 or so minutes. Outage map continues to be stagnant. No new people are out of power. So that's good news. This is our 6:46 currently, and it's been live here for about an hour and 20 minutes. You may have got like a statement earlier for gusty winds, but it was not a severe alert. They have continued this, surprisingly. 60 mile per hour winds, and they trimmed it back a little bit further as well. How far out do we have to go here? About 5 miles. The text of the warning says moving northeast at 25. So that means we'll be live here for about my head's not working. I'm too tired. The gustiest of winds, if there are any, over US 23, about to be on Lake Huron. What's for dinner, guys? What'd you have for dinner or making for dinner? Let me know. It's out of curiosity. Pasta salad, sushi, trail mix. We're off to a great start here, guys. Ribs, tomato and mayo sandwich, steak and potatoes, protein shake. I am intrigued. Anybody else want to chime in? Chef Boyardee. Ham and cheese bagel, burgers, potato salad, nachos, spaghetti, chicken and fries. I think out of everything you guys have said so far, my favorite would be the trail mix comment. Pasta salad's a good choice, though. Jalapeno bacon cheeseburger sliders on pretzel buns. I'm coming over. Kidding. Chicken strips and fries, shrimp, fried eggs, cheese. Nice. You guys are eating good tonight. Yeah, I'm honestly kind of shocked they're continuing this warning, truthfully. Um, the velocity is way down. The organization of the storm is way down. There's not much here that suggests that severe is occurring at this time. Excuse me. But the good news is we're about 3 miles away from Lake Huron, and this storm will no longer be a concern. So 5 or so minutes we'll be probably done with this stream. Wendy's, quick, easy before work. I love you some Wendy's. Wendy's and Hungry Howie's. My two favorite restaurants. Nachos, that sounds good. Steak and corn on the cob. So, fun fact, personal fact, I am allergic, or not really allergic, but I guess we'll say I don't tolerate gluten very well. So y'all say burgers, and I'm thinking, must be nice. Honey mustard or Hungry Howie's hot honey on top is so good. Huh. I'll have to try that. So, if you're just tuning in and you're kind of curious what we're doing, we're talking about dinner. But in the meantime, this storm has weakened considerably from what it was. It still is severe warned in Presque Isle County, Harborview, Presque Isle Township, and Bell areas. Lakeshore areas in this yellow polygon are the immediate concern, although the concern for damaging wind really does not appear to be here with the storm any further, which is kind of why I'm deviating a little bit more off topic of covering this. But the severe warning is still in effect there. It remains in effect for 23 more minutes, 7:15 expiration time. I would not be shocked to see this dropped off soon. Bratwurst sounds good. It kind of does, actually. Beef stroganoff hamburger helper. Did you see Sonic has dill pickle meal? I'm there for that. So, aside from this storm, again, just tuning in, kind of curious what's going on. Got some showers starting to develop up here in Marquette County. We're going to watch those carefully. Got a nice pop up over there in Houghton County. Down here to the west and south, we do have a couple areas that were on radar. Got a brief shower between Grand Ledge, Mulligan, and Portland area. Not much to write home about there. And southeast Michigan is clear. On the lake, though, we do have a couple areas of very light showers that are moving to the northeast. These could develop further into some storms. I'll be monitoring it behind the scenes, but in the meantime, once this warning is dropped, we'll do our sponsor shoutouts and we'll hop out of here. I do not anticipate this being severe much longer. I'm surprised they've held on to this warning for so long. Perfect. I have just completed one of the last updates for our camera network. So you should start seeing those pop up live very soon. That is done. That means I can X this out. Yay! And then I can turn this off. I'm probably going to get really dark here. Yeah, you guys can't really see me now. Give me a second. There we go. A little bit of light left. All right. Is there going to be a Sunday briefing still? Haley, probably not. What I probably will do, though, is I will make a YouTube video that will go out first thing in the morning, and I'll post it on YouTube, and I'll perhaps post it on Facebook as well. I have a lot, and I can't stress out a lot of work to still do tonight, and I gotta drive about 2 hours one way sometime between now and tomorrow morning, so I got a lot of work to do. In the meantime, though, if you guys do hear my chair making noise, it's because I'm moving. It's not what you think it is. This was the last one I had to do, and these are all set. Makes me happy. And now I have 3 screens back. I am, again, shocked that they've held on to this warning for so long. This storm is dead. It's dying. Perhaps they think it could be producing some stronger winds as that core collapses. It could be the case. Radar beam height here is actually pretty high up in the atmosphere, so perhaps some stronger winds could be mixing into the ground there. Radar beam here is about 5,000 feet. So on radar, it did lose its touch. It's definitely looking like it's collapsing. It is collapsing. The height on this is under 40,000 feet now. If I were to track this back, yeah, about 45,000 feet earlier, so it's collapsing on itself. So that is what we're seeing. Yeah, the chair still squeaks, but I have a better microphone now, so you guys can't hear it. But for some reason, you can hear it when I shift and... You guys hear that at all? Oh, we're well past WD-40, Ken. We're well past that. I assume that you weren't here last year. Last year was a whole fiasco with my chair. It was actually a meme on the page a few times. We tried WD-40. We tried all sorts of stuff, taking it apart, different types of lubricants. It's just, no, there's just no way this thing is going to get fixed. In fact, I think there actually is a WD-40 sticker on our Discord server because of last year's fiasco there. But I did get a professional grade microphone here, as you can see, kind of maybe, and that's really helped. It drowns out background noise pretty well. At least I'm told. Once the storm completely moves off onto Huron, that warning is still in effect. I'm probably just going to go ahead and end it just because there's no real threat there for this storm. In the meantime, though, what I'm going to do while we wait is go through our sponsors who help keep operations rolling here at MSC. And hopefully by the time I'm done with this little spiel, that the warning will be dropped. Let's go ahead and see if I can beat it. We have StormGuard Roofing and Construction based in Detroit Metro. Lifestyle Exteriors based in the Lansing up to about Traverse City area across Central Michigan. Katz Roofing and Siding across the Greater Lansing area. Mike Hayes Roofing and Siding in the Thumma, Michigan. McKay Tree Specialist in Southeast Michigan. Kuiper Tree Care, West Michigan. FBI Buildings across much of Lower Michigan. On Top Roofing, Livingston County. Schneider Commercial Building Solutions for roofing or commercial building solutions across Michigan. Shield Public Adjusters for insurance claim help needs or adjustment. Feel free to get a hold of Shield. Top Gun Roofing Exteriors, West Michigan sponsor there. A-Class Restoration and Construction, Mason County. Rainbow Restoration for the Kent County surrounding areas. Rapid Radios, our communication sponsor. Ronald McDonald House of Detroit. Feel free to donate to their cause there. American Arbor, Southwest Michigan tree sponsor there. Apex Restoration, Grand Blanc area. And lastly, our Skycam sponsor, Guardian Technologies. Video, audio, and security, access controls, data, anything you have technology-wise, feel free to get a hold of Guardian. All these sponsors continue to help support operations here at MSC, as well as provide services to you guys in the event that you have damage from storms, restoration, siding, roofing, you name it. We got you guys covered. With that said, thank you to all of our sponsors who continue to help operations here. If you guys need services from these guys, feel free to contact us directly. We'll put you in contact with the correct person, or scroll back, write the number down, or just Google their names. You'll find them pretty easily. And with that said, we're wrapping up the exact same time. Perfect timing. The warning has been canceled for Presque Isle County. That was literally a perfect time. And with that said, any final questions before I roll the outro? Let me know, guys. That was a good, perfectly timed bit there. Outside of these storms that are not pushing onto Huron, there's really nothing else currently worth watching in the state. I'm going to watch these storms over Lake Michigan carefully, and also up here in the UP. These storms are also trying to get some ground to them, but overall, none of these look concerning at this current time. If that changes and we do get severe storms in the future here tonight, I'll be back live, or Joel will be back live, one of us, or both of us. In the meantime, though, I'm going to roll the outro. I do not see any questions in here. You guys enjoy your Sunday evening. Stay tuned for more coverage in the future. We got you guys here at Michigan Storm Chasers. Enjoy your evening, guys. Well, the outro is not working. Hold on. Hold on. I got it. I know the problem. There we go. There we go. Enjoy your evening, guys.